Thanks for hanging with me. I'm Mr. Herman. Welcome to the nibble on the global impact of World War II, Part 2, or Video 2, excuse me. In our last nibble, we talked about how the world got into this mess. Now we're going to focus on how this war affected the world, militarily, socially, and politically. We ready to learn? In this nibble, you'll learn about the major battles and turning points of World War II, the horrifying reality of the Holocaust, the staggering human and economic costs of the war, and the formation of the United Nations as the world tried to prevent this kind of devastation from happening again. World War II was fought across multiple continents, but some battles stood out as turning points. In Europe, Germany used a fast and brutal strategy called blitzkrieg, or lightning war, to quickly conquer much of the continent. But things began to shift with battles like D-Day in 1944, when Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy to begin pushing back Nazi control. Battle of the Bulge, Germany's last major offensive, showed that Hitler's grip was weakening. In the Pacific, which we'll cover in a separate lesson, a different kind of war was unfolding, so stay tuned for that. While the battles raged, something even darker was happening behind the front lines. The Holocaust was a systematic, state-sponsored persecution and murder of 6 million Jews by the Nazi regime. But it didn't stop there. Millions of others were also targeted: Roma people, disabled individuals, political dissidents, and more. The Holocaust became the defining example of genocide in modern history, leading to the question, how could the world let this happen? The answer was silence, fear, and hate. After the war, the international community vowed never again. The toll of World War II was enormous. Over 70 million people died, making it the deadliest conflict in human history. Cities were destroyed: London, Warsaw, Berlin, Tokyo, left in ruins. Infrastructure was gone, economies collapsed, and millions of people became refugees, displaced from their homes and countries. Families were torn apart, and rebuilding took years, sometimes even decades. After the war, world leaders knew they couldn't afford to repeat the mistakes of the past. In 1945, the United Nations was formed with a mission to promote peace, prevent future conflicts, and bring countries together to solve global problems. The UN replaced the failed League of Nations and quickly became a major player in the world stage. While not perfect, the UN symbolized a new global effort to cooperate instead of destroy. One last global impact of World War II was the shift in global power. Two superpowers emerged: the United States and the Soviet Union. These nations had different values: democracy versus communism, and their rivalry would shape the second half of the 20th century. Tensions rose, and although they were allies in the war, distrust set in. This was the beginning of a new kind of conflict: the Cold War. All right, let's recap. World War II reshaped borders, destroyed cities, cost tens of millions of lives, showed humanity at both its worst and best, from genocide and devastation to resilience and rebuilding. And while the war officially ended in 1945, its consequences are still felt today. This wasn't just a war between countries, it was a turning point in world history. Until then, stay curious, stay focused, And as always, make today count.